It should be. All right. Welcome to the Duck and Compass Society. My name is Tim Colomer, and I'm your host on the Duck and Compass Society for today's adventure. We're going to be finishing up this painting of Mike the goose and Robert the duck. Robert's already done. I like having cameras on both sides. It's kind of fun for me. Get to look around. Anyway, clean up my area here just for a second. Robert and Mike follow the story of Robert and Mike. And Robert and Mike, the original duo, were two surfers from California that decided they want to take a trip around the world and try to discover all of the coolest surf spots in the Endless Summer. The movie, The Endless Summer. And I am one of the artists that's been licensed by the Endless Summer to continue that journey. And it is an absolute privilege to be able to do that for you folks, is introduce, hopefully, I know, a whole another generation of children and maybe even adults to the Endless Summer. One of my favorite movies. It's a surf movie, if you're not familiar, from the 60s. And it follows these guys, Mike and Robert. They're, I think at the time they're younger. I wouldn't say they were kids, but they're probably in their 20s, and they decided to take a trip out around the world. And like I said, go see all the things that this beautiful globe has to offer us. And one of the spots that they hit is actually one of my favorite spots to go to. That'd be Tamarindo in Costa Rica. Tamarindo is world famous now, I would think. Gosh, it's got to be world famous. Surf school, surf camp, and they offer all sorts of really fun activities for the family. Of course, the biggest draw, of course, is the surfing, and it is next level, my friends. It's just absolutely amazing, and they got beginner, intermediate, and advanced packages. And I've been out on the beginner package. I went on the intermediate package. As a matter of fact, I got a trophy for the wipeout of the week. That's me. I did that. I just got done mowing the lawn in Texas at 4:30, and I don't mind telling you, it's Texas in August at 4:30. It's hot. It's a little hot. Super hot. Good Lord. I don't know how anybody works outside for a living. Yeah, I do. I've done it. But they're pretty hardcore to do that in Texas. All right. I think I just gave them a little bit too much of a shadow. So I'm going to go right to my paper towel and get rid of some of that. Good Lord. Sorry about that, Mr. Mike. It's been a good day so far. Welcome to Monday, I suppose. Monday's is always a big hit with everybody. So, Robert and Mike, they travel around the world. They mean more than anything else. They travel around with me, and I bring them to places and introduce them to really cool people. And we've had some opportunities to do that so far this year. We went to Tokyo together. We went to the Endless Summer, has a flagship store there. We're down like it's down the street. I was in London earlier this year. We checked out some really cool places in London. Of course, when you're in England and you're me, you've got to go see Stonehenge. That place was insane. What a cool place. What a different vibe that place has got. Man, totally bizarre. Super fun though. And here's a fun fact. I think I might start doing these on my show, little fun facts. Do you know that Stonehenge was actually purchased by a guy, a dude owned Stonehenge for a good long time, kept it in his family. And as the story goes, now this was firsthand, so I'm not making this up for entertainment's sake. But apparently, dude went out to buy some magic beans one day. No, for real, this guy apparently he went out, go get some groceries, walks past, drives past. I don't know the full scope of the story, but regardless, drives past Stonehenge, and I don't know, did they have a big for sale sign on it? I'm not positive about that. The dude bought it. The guy bought Stonehenge from the government at like nothing, couple £100. And I know back in the day that was probably a bunch of money. I'm sure it's still a lot of money to well, God, I was just there. It's a couple £100 is pretty strong. So this guy goes back home to his wife and does the whole, honey, guess what I bought kind of thing. And from what I understand, she wasn't very happy. Not really. Probably a little upset that the old man bought some magic beans, or at least a magic rock. And then, they kept it in the family, apparently, kept it in the family for a good long time. And when the gentleman passed, or his wife got mad at him, I can't remember which one came first. Probably the latter. He sold it back to, or he donated it. It was kind of a sketch story, so I'm not really sure. Do I put color on the right brothers? Do I? Do I? Yeah, let's do it. Just a little bit. Just a little bit to add a little bit of a pop, a little flair. Do I give them the bomber jacket? Yes, we do. They get the bomber jackets too. They are the original wearers of the freaking coolest thing you could possibly wear in your flying. That's a bomber jacket. I used to kind of get a little jealous of the senior Marines when I was in, because the Marine Corps authorized bomber jackets. I can't remember what year it was, but I was pretty young, and from what I remember, those things were expensive, y'all. And when you're a little boot like I was, you are not about to spend a couple $100 on a uniform item. Not when there's girls. Not when there's beers to be drank. Guys are out there dumping a couple $100 on a jacket. But they did look cool. They did look cool. I'll give them that. And that's all that matters when you're in the Marine Corps, is did you make it look good? And that's not for me. That's for my old friend Chris. Wherever he's at. I think he's in Africa. I'm not sure. Got a lot of friends that have gone on to do some pretty wild stuff. All right. Mike is feeling a little flat, man. I don't know. I think his coveralls are a little bit on the freaking bright side there, but we could fix that. Just add a couple more layers. That's why I like watercolors so much, because I could go in there the next day, like literally the next day, sometimes same day, and add some color. Where if I did this with oil paint, I'd have to wait days. If I wanted to go in and do a wash or an oil painting, could be weeks. And I don't get me wrong, I love oil paints. It's one of my disciplines I practice. With some oils. I also like charcoal, long walks on the beach, and lobster. So now you know everything you need to know about me. But I hate negative people. Yuck. All right, that's a little bit better. I could deal with that. That's a good look for him. His fun facts, his checklist there. I don't know if the camera could get in close enough on it right now. You'll see it later, but Robert's up here flying in a period of clothes that wasn't even invented yet, because this was their first flight out of Kitty Hawk with Orville and Wilbur Wright. So he's wearing clothes that doesn't even exist. This one's down here where clothes that doesn't exist. But also he's looking at a flight checklist for an F-117 Alpha, which is not that. I promise you that. It's a stealth bomber. So I'm just having fun with a little bit of history revisionism. I'm gonna darken this up just a little bit, and this here too. I'm just giving it a little bit of texture and some darker areas. I don't like it like absolutely flat and black and white. So we're gonna do a layer over the top of it. Nothing extreme. There we go. Boom. If you think about it, folks, we are not that far away from the period of time when these guys took flight for the first time. I mean, on the grand scale of things, it was like yesterday, right? For reals. Kind of crazy. And now I jump in a plane for 14 hours, which is miserable. Don't get me wrong. But now I fly to Tokyo in 14 hours, where before it'd take you, what, that many days to get there on a ship? I'm not really sure. And I don't think there was a nonstop to Tokyo from Houston like there is now, which is super nice, by the way. I want to go back. I miss it. I mean, I don't miss it like I miss home, but the people are super, super cool. The food is out of control. I mean, like next level food. Everywhere you go, there's all sorts of options, especially in Tokyo. I mean, if you get off, obviously, if you get off the beaten path in Japan, you're like, I want to go out into the countryside. Well, you're not going to run into that. The selection of food and everything. But Tokyo reminds me a lot of like any major metropolitan area where you got all of the different countries and people that move there. Not as prevalent as the United States as far as like expats and stuff, but I ran into some coolest expats. I ran into let's see, where's the guy from? Where's he? Where's that guy from? I think it was the halal guy. Was he from Iran? I can't remember. It's been a few weeks, but everybody's so nice. I was like, it didn't really matter where you're from. Everybody got along. Oh, we did sit next to a Russian family. That was crazy. I can only identify their language. I didn't know what they were saying, but I identify their language really, very easy. It's not a hard language to pick up on if you've ever watched a James Bond movie. Yeah, we sat down next to them and we had some delicious ramen. And I wanted to say Dos Bidonia, but I'm in a foreign country and I don't know who these folks are. They could be spies for all I know. They're spies, like us. No, I'm not a spy. That's from a movie. What movie was it from? It's hard to tell, especially since I just said the name of the movie. Oh, so check this out. I might. I do these painting shows for an hour. I might after this introduce my son, who's turning 13 very soon, to a movie that I'm a huge fan of. But I might get in a little pushback from the wife on this one. But Daddy's home, and Daddy's in charge, and I might introduce my son to Full Metal Jacket tonight. We got anybody on there right now? Let's see. What do you guys think? We got two people watching. What do you guys think? Full Metal Jacket? The reason why I'm so pumped up right now and all Marine Corps out is because my podcast came out today on Combat Story with my boy AJ, and we had the greatest time. I've done a lot of interviews, my friends, and it's not a brag. It's just who I am. And my interview with AJ was so much fun and long. I think at the end we did 3 hours, but after the edits and copy was done and everything, it wound up being 2.5. But I listened to that whole sucker today, and I absolutely enjoyed it. Such a treat. So please, if you're into podcasts and you want to hear a good one, not because I'm on it, well, because I'm on it. Why would yeah. Anyway, go check it out. It's a combat story with AJ. I can't pronounce his last name. I'm sorry, brother, if you're listening. Heffa. A little bit from another movie. Heffa. I can't remember exactly how it goes. I know I sound like a freaking broken chicken right now, but I was trying to do another fantastic movie. Not one that my son liked as much as I did, but Uh, that would be Spies Like Us. No, yeah, yeah, no, that wasn't that one. That was the Three Amigos. Now you got to walk towards the bush, say the magical thing, and then shoot your pistol up into the air. And he does, and then he shoots the invisible guy. I hope that's not a spoiler alert for a movie that's probably 45 years old. It's How old is it? I'm not really sure, but it's not a new one. I think I actually saw that in the theater. Oh, big man's old. Yeah, Mike is coming along, guys. Freaking loving this one. I think I'm gonna just give him a little bit more shading up underneath his hat. And again, you just dab a little bit. There you go. You go. Got magical shading, and it's magic. Have it move up a little bit. There's this little muscle right here. If you don't follow anatomy, when the hand is flexed, it's I think this one is right in here is the one I want to capture. It's got this little bitty string that goes down that way. See, artists, if they're good artists, will study some stuff and get back to you later with a painting about it. My friend Michelle is probably one of my favorite artists that I can say that I'm friends with and I know personally. A bit of a mentor, huge friend, and this lady knows anatomy. She does the most intense, detailed portraits of people's hands that you will ever, I promise you that you'll ever see. And I was fortunate enough that my friend came over. She sat down, did a photo shoot with me, and painted my hands. And man, the stuff that she went through. Let me look around my studio. She literally made barbed wire out of like plastic stuff. I know I got it around somewhere in my office. But she made barbed wire as a prop, wrapped it around my hands. What other crazy stuff did she do? You might ask. Oh, well, she made me hold on to a. I'm not going to give all our secrets away. Never mind. That'd be terrible. All right, so we got these looky loos in the background over here, just thinking to themselves, seriously, another opportunity to watch Crash. Fantastic. Nobody took these guys seriously. If you don't know the whole story about the Wright brothers, man, you should go out and learn it because nobody took them serious. And not really. I mean, back in the day, people were trying to fly all the time. There was all sorts of weird flight stuff going on. People affixing wings to their bodies and launching themselves off of freaking bridges. You go back, I was going to say, go back on YouTube. Now, I mean, obviously there wasn't a YouTube back then, but there was um, some really funny video of people trying to put together personal flying devices. I think one of my favorites is the bridge guy. They like straps his wings on, and he just hits the fuck it button. Sorry, kids, but sometimes sometimes the adults got to talk. He just slaps it. He's like, I'm doing it, man. I don't know what his deal was. Clearly not into aerodynamics or math, whatever. Guy just launches himself. Very brave. What a brave guy. No, those are brave. Nuts. Let me test out this thing that I don't know if it works or not with my life. That's intense. And that's Intense City. That's Intent City. I missed a leg. You gotta make sure your boys got like other legs. I think I'm gonna go back up in here. I kind of wanted to keep this. I still do. I want to keep the airplane itself that old fashioned, very first. I mean, I don't want to add anything to this. I don't want to take away from what the Wright brothers built by adding things like jet engines and safety features. Because who am I, really? I try to improve upon their design. I've got a yellow duck flying near them. I used to disarm bombs. I don't know what I'm doing with my life now, kids. It's just a goofy painting, having a fun time doing it. I think I'm going to darken up this side though a little bit more because really it needs it. Let's grab a little black, just a wee bit. There we go. Give a little texture. There's a technique I like doing. You just use the side of your brush here and it picks up the texture, just like the side of his face right there, those leaves. Ooh, now, my friends, the intensity begins. Is after I get done with this plane a little bit more, I'm gonna have to do the sky, which means I got to paint around all this. Now that's one thing I do like about oil is you can put down your base first, paint over it. You do that with watercolors, it could look challenged. I think that's the right word. Now, what do we want to do? It's Kitty Hawk. It's what month did they take off at? It was spring, maybe. I don't know. I think it was. I'm not exactly positive, but am I going for dead grass, live grass? What are we doing over here? I don't know. Help me out, my friends. Let's see what we got. We still got 2 people on there. Maybe. I wish I could freaking see what you people were saying. Where is the chat box? You know what? We'll figure it out later. For now, we're going to make some grass. We'll make a little bit of grass. I'm not even sure what colors those are, but I'm going for a darker color up here. This is going to be kind of the back of the hill. Going a little bit with these folks here. I like getting these people down here when it's like still a little bit of wetness, because then they'll actually blend into the background, just like people would if they're far away from you. And they're pretty far, right? I'm gonna give them a little bit of an entrance into the grassy part. Might make this a little bit lighter as it goes. There we go. I like that. That's a good look. That is good. That is good. That is good. And say, hey, Robert, do you mind if I buy you a fish sandwich? What movie is that from? Can only be one. Leon Phelps. God, I hope I don't get in trouble for quoting movies on this. I haven't had this podcast long, or podcast. I'm gonna call it a TV show because I like it. I haven't been doing this longer than maybe a couple of weeks. That'd be crap if I got in trouble for quoting movies. I don't know. All right, darken that up a little bit. All right, coolio. All right, we're gonna go in here. Whoop-a-doo. So the other day I came home from work with a freaking melody in my head, and I asked my son, I was like, hey, do you know what this is? He couldn't figure it out. I couldn't figure it out. We asked the computers. I actually hummed into a microphone and a computer, which made me feel ridiculous and completely honest with you. But it wasn't until a couple days later we figured it out, but we did. It was Primus. And that's a huge shock for some people that know me. Big Primus fan here. And I still can't remember. It could have been Southbound Pachyderm. Not really sure. All right, so this is kind of a cool feature right here. There we go. Kind of give it that little bit of a hilly effect. And we're going to kind of just work it back and forth, lightening things, making things darker. And here's the order of operations. If you didn't know, and I will share this with you now, that the way light works when it's traveling is that the further away it is, the less color you're going to see. That's just the way it is. So things that are close to you, like things that are close to you, I don't know, buildings, cars, people, whatever, they're going to appear darker, and then things far away are going to appear lighter. See, this probably the best way to see this really happen in nature, and also the things farther away are a lot more muted. So the probably the best way to see it in nature. If you've never been to the mountains before, go there. Number one, because good lord, they're mountains. But you'll understand what I mean real quick. So now I'm trying to get a little bit more sharper color up here. Maybe some darker grass, a little bit more scenery. I might drop in some flowers later on. Who knows how the boy's feeling? There we go. And then the darkest part, I'm going to get a little bit of water and just bring that over. There we go. I don't want it. It's so uniform that it's like fake looking. I want some real. I want to do that. Bubble, bubble up, bubble, bubble up. That's another stupid song that gets stuck in my head. You guys get like Baby Shark, do 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 do, Baby Shark. You guys probably get songs like that. I get like completely random, not even sure what I'm singing songs. And that one, that Bopalopalop, was like a internet thing for a while. Not really sure where it came from, but every once in a while that thing would get in my head. All right, getting a little bit of, it's getting a little bit more detail. Whoop-a-doop. Popping them in. Might go for I don't know. You know what? I'm just gonna pat some of this off and then have it just a little bit more time to dry. And I'm gonna do a wash over the top of it. It'd be very cool. All right, kind of down to the last hurrah, my friends, and that is I'm gonna get out a tube. I think I'm gonna go with a tube if I have a handy. I probably don't. I should have prepped better, but I don't want to be late. And when you're in the Marine Corps and you're late, you might as well freaking hang it up. You're done. You're done. Now, I don't like being late, so I'm gonna get this big ass brush, soak it up with a bunch of blue, throw down a bunch of water. I'm not gonna take your time to try to get a tube. Why don't you just do this? It'll take me a little bit longer. That's all right. I don't want to overpower the stuff up in front here that I'm working on. So I'm not going super dark blue. I think that might actually kill the rest of the mood of the painting. If I was like, hey, the Wright brothers, first flight, it's freaking cloudy as shit outside. And they did it anyway. Well, that would have been something else, but they would have been terrible pilots. So they'd have been like, oh, it's raining? What is that, a thunderstorm? What's on radar, Tony? Is that a hurricane? Yeah, did you catch that? No? You play it back later. No radar back in the day. What? No radar? How do they see all the UFOs? Now, that's a question that I'd like the answer to. All right, a little dabbing, a little blobbing, and we'll get some of those clouds to form. Oh, that's cool looking. You might not be able to see it, might not come through, but I promise when we're completely done here, folks, it'll come through. All right, and since I gave these cross beams a little bit of time to dry, there we go. I'm not too worried about the bleed over. Now, I am going to have to remember which ones in here I did recently wet because of like a big dummy. That's all right. You know what? It gives it character. Look out below. Yeah, so that was my big dog. So my interview with AJ, man, what a blast. We, I think, probably talked about everything. I mean, it was these sound like a prick, but it was my interview. It was an interview about me. So, I mean, when I say everything, everything that I've probably done in my life to a certain extent. I think the things that I'm most proud of, though, didn't make the show. And it's not because he edited them out, we didn't talk about it. That'd be my family, my beautiful wife, my boys, my brothers. You know, the important stuff. Oh, yeah, there we go. Now, I've got to be really careful here and that I don't oversaturate in some areas, that I keep kind of the tone and the colors, you know, pretty much the same, or else it'll just look blotchy as can be. So I use a little mixing tray down here, get a whole bunch of paint, a whole bunch of water, try to go in different directions because, it's clouds. They're not uniform. They're not just out there being all pretty without changing shape. Ooh, that was a big blob. But you know what fixes that? Handy paper towel. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit. I'm gonna let this one. I'm gonna let this one go because I kind of like the shape of the cloud that it has. Maybe a little wispy through here. Then maybe down here towards the hills. It's just dying off a little bit. I'm gonna get a little water. Watch this trick. Get a little water. Cut that edge back a little bit. Watercolors are fun too for me because there's so many different things you could do. I know that's probably true of a lot of different mediums. Um, Charcoal for me is a lot of fun too, but charcoal for me is a lot of fun because the amount of control I've got is pretty sick. Like you could do a lot of really cool stuff with charcoal, man. And I've been watching some people on here doing some really intense charcoal. Well, I say on here. I'm not watching them on my paper. I'm watching them on the YouTubes, or I'll catch them on the Facebookies, or whatever. All right, I like this, but it's like really sticking out because it's right underneath them. So I'm just going to take it back a little bit. I'm going to keep a little bit of texture there for the clouds because I think it's cool looking, and just go right into the airplane. Can you imagine, though, for real? I don't care if they were 10 feet off the ground or 1,000 feet off the ground. You are the first human to take flight for an extended period of time without crashing. And what do you got for safety gear? Like, I'd really like to know. Like, guys, I'm gonna get up to heaven. The freaking Wright brothers gonna be there and be like, "We saw your painting, dude. Rad, thank you." I'll be like, "Very cool. Who are you guys? I've never seen you before." Because who could really identify the Wright brothers? Serious. From a painting or from a picture, could you identify them? Would they be wearing bomber jackets? Probably not. But I want to ask him. Like, that's a legit question. Like, were you terrified? I'd be terrified. So here's a fun fact. I don't like spilling a whole lot of the tea about my family, except I have one, and I love them very much. But we have some aviation providence in my family. That's right. My wife is somehow through marriage or maybe natural familial ties is related to Amelia Earhart. I'm sorry, I'm over here talking about the Wright brothers, and I got Amelia Earhart on the brain because my beautiful wife might be related to that lady. So that's pretty freaking cool. All right, time to make some clouds, baby. Maybe a couple over here, a couple little pats. All right. So why did I keep that section like that? I think I'm gonna put some light rays through there tomorrow when this like fully dries up on me and the painting is pretty much ready to go. I think I'd like to put some rays of sunshine in there and make it look kind of extra special on these guys. Like have the rays of sunshine go like pew, or do they go up that way? I think that'd be weird. I can't forget. Always look. So there's a little mental checklist that I have prepared for myself through a really good art program that I took, a very short term, but fantastic art program that it's computer based training. You could do it at your house. I'm not even gonna lie. It was super fun, but it's mostly taken by kids, from what I understand. That's like their target audience. But who gives a shit? I wasn't in class with a bunch of kids. It's computer based training. And you know what? My son was next to me the entire time learning some stuff, so I'll just tell you, yeah, I did it for him. So the name of that school is Evolve, the Evolve Art Academy or Art School, and the dude that runs it is obviously an amazing artist, but he's got some really cool projects that he's done in his past. Uh, the rolling the cover of the Rolling Stones album, Steel Wheel Tour, he did that. He did a lot of really rad stuff, man. And he's a great instructor. He breaks everything down to its simplest possible format. I mean, you really, and there's no joke about it. You start crawling before you walk with his program. It's not incredibly expensive like you would think. As a matter of fact, you get like a couple $1,000s worth of art supplies with the course. So it's not like you're going over to Michael's trying to figure out what turpentine is or what linseed oil is. And the last time I ordered some resupply from them, I want to say that they're using a new paint. And by the way, they use amazing paints. They use Old Holland paints, which like that's some master level stuff right there. Old Holland paints. If you don't know a lot about oil paint, I mean like the tubes of oil paint. Here's some that'll just blow your freaking mind. Is some of the pigments are so rare and they're so difficult to collect that you could spend thousands of dollars on a tube of oil paint about that big. Thousands. Thousands. Blue, there's a blue that's out there that I heard about. That's like $2,000 or $3,000 for a small tube. Now I don't know if this part is true or not, uh, but I've heard that some of the ingredients for some of the yellows are like straight up urine. Again, I cannot confirm nor deny that. I'm gonna make these clouds just a little bit darker, but not crazy dark. I'm gonna give them a little dab, knock them back a little bit, and that's how you build up really good cloud layers, man. You just a little bit at a time. Put down a little bit, take a little bit away. There's probably 1,000 ways to do it, but that's the way I like to do it. If you have a different way, go get your own show, dude. Now, I'd love to hear what it is. If you got another way of doing it, I'm all yours. I feel like I'm missing something here. Oh, I don't know what it is. It's you know what it is. I think I know what it is. The painting isn't maybe not framed properly. Oh, you got two opposing. It is framed properly. It's got a good tempo there. Oh, these cards here. I'm glad you asked. So I take this painting and I send it off. I get a photograph of it, and I send it over to my friend Daryl. If you're watching, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. It's good seeing you again today. I sent it over to my friend Daryl, and you know what it is? The grass and the jacket are just way too on point. I got to change that. So Daryl takes my images and turns them into these cards for the Duck and Compass Society, and they travel all over the world. They literally are all over the world. I got cards. I got cards in all over the United States, obviously, but I also have some cards in. Let's see, Aruba. We got some cards in England. In fact, I got another shipment going out to England here tomorrow. A friend of mine, and now a friend of mine, gotten to become friends through the Duck and Compass Society. Picked up some more. We're going to be in a lot more retail places, hopefully real soon. Working with some outfitters, some surf shops, maybe some boards of tourism. So look out, folks. I'm telling you, Robert and Mike, they're gonna have an impact. Because Robert and Mike, what they do is righteous. It's good stuff. There's not a whole lot of that anymore. We need more of it. I'm telling you. That's how I feel. If you don't feel that way, it's all right. I got a time check here real quick because I am kind of promised my son that we watch some movies here. So I'm just gonna hit a couple more touches. Man, you know what? Freaking embrace it, dude. He's wearing a jacket the same color as the grass. Come on, embrace it. You know what I could do? I could make it in the fall or winter time and drop in some browns in that grass, and that'll throw off that similar contrast real quick. But to do that, I'm gonna wait for that sucker to dry overnight. I don't want to ruin this painting. It's been a lot of fun so far, and you guys have been a lot of fun so far. I'm gonna do a chime hack here. It is 6:45. That's almost as long as I want to run anyway. So you guys have had an awesome night. I've had an awesome night. We should just call it a good painting session. I've had a lot of fun. You should go check out the duckandcompasssociety.com. That is a free version of our app. You get our app on the App Store on Apple. It's kind of a big deal. Surprised you didn't know that. What else? Be cool. Have a good night. And I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow, but definitely Wednesday. I'm out.